Hey guys, just wanted to come to you guys today to talk about what I believe is a very important component uh, when it comes to achieving success, whether it's in your work-related field, your relationships, your coworkers, friends, whatever the case may be. For me, I found that humility is something that is very important, and it's something that some of us are born with, but amazingly, it's also something that can be just struck into you just through living life. You can be just think you have everything together, and something happens in your life where you can just be immediately humbled and bring you back down to earth. One of the things that happened to me very early on in my sales career, I passed a test which had a very high failure rate. So mentally in my mind, I'm thinking to myself that I had everything together and I passed this very difficult test. So a lot of people had to listen to me, and I kind of was on top of the world. And I was calling people, making appointments, and what was happening is I would go out to go out to people's homes, and I couldn't close anything. And as the time went on, I just got more and more depressed over a couple of weeks span. And luckily, I had one of my best friends, God rest his soul, he's in heaven now, passed away this year, but he was there. He saw me getting kind of depressed, and he said to me, if you want me to, I'll go out on an appointment with you. He's the best salesman that I've ever seen in my life. And in the middle of the appointment, he saw it going downhill, and he essentially grabbed my wrists with his hand and then kicked me under the table, which in our language meant shut up and I'll take it from here. He proceeded to go on. He closed the deal. We walked out of there with the business. But one of the most important things in my sales career happened to me on that ride back to the office. And what he tried to say to me was essentially, Rock, sometimes you have to be quiet and you have to listen to what the person is telling you. And, he said that we have two ears and one mouth for a reason, use them proportionately. He said, you're on the appointments and you're talking and talking and talking, and it almost feels as though you're not giving the client or the prospect the ability to talk back to you and to tell you what they actually want. It's almost like you're going in there and thinking you're high and mighty, and you're telling them what it is that they should have with no input from them. And he said, what I do is when I walk in the door, I tell them about myself and then I shut up. And he said, if you shut up long enough, the people will tell you exactly what it is that you need to say to them in order for them to buy. So, from my perspective, that humility and the ability to not be so high and have a trusted source say to me, hey, listen, if you want to succeed in this business, you have to change what you're doing and you have to take this route. You can continue doing what you're doing, but obviously you're seeing that it's not successful. I then showed you how I proceeded with handling an appointment, and you see how it went. Now, is it going to go like that all the time? No, but in this business, what you're trying to do is just increase your success rate or the likelihood of actually closing a deal. So, from my perspective, I just think it's very important, whether it's relationships, whether it's your goals in terms of objectives, in terms of getting where you want to be in the workplace. Having humility and being smart, but also recognize that there's other smart people around you, and you having the ability to learn from those people and incorporate those things into what you may be willing to, you're actually doing to get you to where it is that you want to be. It's just very important that you understand that winning in life is actually getting that thing that you want. How we get it can come in a multitude of ways, but ultimately it's keeping sight of the finish line. Where is it that you ultimately want to be? And not being so stuck in our ways that this is how we're going to do it, even though you're banging your head against that wall and it's not working. It doesn't mean that you lose sight of the end goal, but it means that, hey, listen, we have to make some adjustments here in order to get us to that finish line. So I just wanted to show that, or you know, share that experience, because I think it's a very, very important ingredient, especially out here. Some of the things that I'm seeing and hearing from individuals relative to not being willing to, you know, give a little bit. In sales, we like to call it a win-win situation. I get a little bit, but I'm going to be giving up a little bit. And then in turn, you're going to be winning a little bit, but you're going to be not getting everything that it is that you want. So when you're looking at your, careers, when you're looking at, your relationships, I think that's another reason why we're having a lot of problems in terms of, relationships. The big thing on the internet is, what men are doing wrong, what women are doing wrong. The reality of the situation is we all have to come together and sit there and say, I am not perfect. In my relationship, there's things that, you know, my wife is not always right, just like I'm not always right. I have quirks. My wife has quirks. And I think what's most important is when you're humble and you can, bring yourself off that cloud a little bit, what you realize is that, even then, there may be 10% or 15% of things that, are quirks that I may have. But you know what? My wife chooses to focus on the 80 to 90% of things that are the positive things and the things that I bring to the table that are good. And, so she can overlook that 10% or 15% of things. Nobody here is perfect. So I just wanted to share that message. I think it's just very important for us to have humility, just to see the good in other people, because like I said before, a lot of people do want to help you get to where it is that you want to be. Hopefully this helps some of you guys out. Until the next one, peace out.